going on, hunters? Welcome back to another Monster Hunter video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at my top 5 monsters that I want to see in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, these videos do not belong to me. They all belong to Boss Fight Database. So give that channel a follow, guys. But without further ado, let's dive in. So the first monster that I would love to see is arguably my favorite monster in the entire game. Now, we haven't seen this monster since Monster Hunter World's Iceborne. And I don't know, there's just something about Brachydios that is just, I don't really know what it is. I think maybe it's the design, it's the colors, it's the weapons, it's the armor pieces that you can get. I don't know what it is, but I would love to see Brachydios again in Monster Hunter Wilds. The blast element is so cool. The fight is always really badass. And even if we get the variation of raging Brachydios too, that would take me over the top. I would probably faint. But by far, this is my #1 monster that I want to see in the game. It's just so cool. It's so badass. The design, again, is just so incredible. And each time you fight Brachy, it's just always fun. Do you guys remember when Brachy came out? I believe this was in Monster Hunter Tri, and you could use the bow, the little slinger bow, and it did the most damage in the game, and it was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. I think that's where I kind of fell in love with this monster. But like I said, #1, raging Brachy, or just regular Brachydios, I don't really care. I would just love to see this monster again in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, let's take a look at our #2 spot. Coming in at #2 is, of course, Lagiacrest. We have not seen Lagiacrest since Monster Hunter GU. Actually, we've seen Lagiacrest in Stories 2. But to fight a monster like this, where it's not like the turn-based fighting or whatever it was in that game, Lagiacrest was so badass. I was first introduced to this monster in Monster Hunter Tri, and I think that may be when Lagiacrest first came to the game. I'm not 100% sure, but there we had the underwater fighting, and of course I was using the switch axe, and I thoroughly enjoyed the underwater fighting with Lagiacrest. It was the coolest fight ever. Monster Hunter Tri is just one of the coolest games. It's a nice introduction to the game for me, and I just had a blast. Now, to see this monster in Monster Hunter Wild would mean a lot to me, because this was one of the first monsters, like big monsters, that I've hunted and enjoyed the hunt. And what got me into Monster Hunter in general was this monster. Now, I don't think we're gonna have underwater hunting in Monster Hunter Wilds. It could happen. I mean, they didn't say it wasn't gonna happen. They did show a little bit of underwater swimming in the game, but you know, they didn't show any fighting at all. But it would be cool to have Lagiacrest back in the game again. Whether it's this one or the Abyssal one or both, I don't really care. I would just love to see this monster again in crispy 4K graphics. It would be super exciting. Hopefully, man, hopefully. And then hopefully they'll add underwater fighting. Who knows? We'll see. They probably won't, but it is what it is. All right, well, with that being said, let's take a look at #3. This monster was introduced to us in Monster Hunter Worlds. The flagship monster of the game. Whenever I first saw this monster, the design, like the sheer design of this monster, was just so incredible. And the cinematic, this is the first cinematic when you run into this monster, when you fight it like this. Dude, it's so cool, man. It just gives me chills again just watching this video, because Nergigante is so badass. For me, he's up there with Brachy. honestly, it's a close call on which one I would view as number one. But Nurg is just such a cool monster, and the way that they introduced Nurg in this story was just super cool. I mean, he's the Elder Dragon Eater. Like, what? That's absolutely absurd. The fight itself is so cool. He's just so brutal. He's so fast. He's strong. After you learn the fight, it gets a lot easier, of course, like it does with every monster. But the initial first hunt of this was just so amazing. And I love the weapon. I love the armor. Nurg is just a badass dude. He just looks super cool. And like I said, it's a very fun fight, you know? It's a very, very fun fight. And Nurg is just a really cool monster. And I hope if they do bring Nurg, I hope that they also bring Ruiner Nurg back. You know, you gotta have the deviance of these monsters right when you bring them into the game. It's just fitting, right? It's just more fun. But yeah, I would love to see Nurg in the game again, you know? Hopefully I'm not alone in this. I know there's a lot of other Nurg fans out there, but it'll just be really cool to see Nurg again. All right, now, with that being said, guys, that is our number 3 monster. We are now going to go on to number 4. This monster was introduced to us in Monster Hunter Rise.
It comes to fight.
And just the design and the ice blades are so badass. I think Gosarag actually got voted the number 1 monster in Monster Hunter Rise. I think. I could be wrong on that, you know, don't super fact check me, but I think that's the case. But seeing someone like Gosarag in this game, just the way that they designed him was amazing. They did so well. And the Limb Reaper, what? Like the Slim Reaper, you know? Anyways, I would love to see Gosarag in this game too. Now, will we see Gosarag? Probably not, just because Gosarag was in the last game. Now, of course, there are some monsters that carry over from game to game, like Rathian, Tigrex. Those are just monsters that you're going to probably see in like almost every Monster Hunter game. But, you know, we're probably not going to see Gosarag just because he was just introduced in the last game. Just like we're probably not going to see Malzeno. Would be cool, sure. But, you know, this is one of the very unlikely ones. But I just really love Goss. The design's cool. I love the ice blades. I just love everything that Goss can do. It's just a very fun fight. It's slow and steady. I mean, you kind of take your time understanding Goss. But Goss is very powerful. So don't ever sleep on the power and the damage that this monster can do. But I would love to see Gosarag. I do also like Gosarag's armor too. It just looks kind of cool. It would also be cool to see like a different variant of Gosarag. But you know, like I said, we'll see what happens. Again, this is one that I'm pretty sure won't be in the game, but it would just be cool to see him in it. All right, guys, and with that being said, now we're on to our final one, number 5. Let's take a look at who it is. Right, in the number 5 slot, it is none other than the most annoying bird in the entire game in all of existence. Okay? You will get confused, you will get dazed, you will get thrown around, and you will just be confused in the entire fight if this is your first time fighting this bird. Okay? Now, this bird's name is Malfestio? One of those is the correct way to say it. But I remember my first time fighting this monster. It was in Monster Hunter Generations. I don't know if this monster has a previous, within a previous game or not. I'm just unsure. Like I said, I started in Try, and I don't think it was in Try. I just can't fully remember. But this fight's cool because it's so different from all the other hunts that you do in the game. When you get hit with that, all of your controllers switch, or you're moving. You're directionally challenged. So left is now right, right is now left, up is now down, down is now up. And when you're fighting like that, when you're so used to just controlling the fights and controlling yourself, and then it's all switched around and everything's reversed, it makes this fight so much harder, but it makes it so much more fun. I really enjoy this fight. I think it's annoying, but it just brings like a fun element to the hunt. So I really hope they bring it back. It'd be nice to see. Again, this is the last time that I think we've seen this monster. So it'd be cool to just bring it back, you know what I mean? All right, guys, and I know that I did say that this was the last monster, but I do have a special surprise. And this monster, I really, really, really hope that we get to see it in Monster Hunter Wilds. And that monster is none other than the pickle itself. Devil Joe is the most annoying, probably more annoying than Basil Geese. Or, maybe not that annoying, but it's up there. It's up there. Devil Joe is such a badass monster, right? You got a full-on T-Rex who gives you amazing armor and an amazing weapon. Of course, it has negative affinity, but you get a lot of damage with it. I was honestly hoping that we would see Devil Joe in Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak, but being that we didn't, that makes me believe that there's a higher chance of seeing Devil Joe in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now just imagine, you're running around, you're going through these things where there's tons of monsters that you're fighting. Maybe you're fighting a little herd of them, and then you have a damn Devil Joe just run in and absolutely interrupts all of your fun. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Well, I can, and I think it sounds pretty fun. I think it'll be pretty exciting to see Devil Joe, and even Savage Devil Joe in here too. That'd be really, really cool to see them in this game. Like I said, I thought they would put them in Rise, but they didn't. So I'm hoping that that means that there's just a higher chance that we'll see Devil Joe in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, guys, that is my top 5 with the bonus monster here at the end. You guys let me know what you guys think, and you guys let me know some monsters that you guys want to see in Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you guys for watching. My name's Flip. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.